Daytime. A little bit warmer today. I feel like it's in about 50s. About to come out the sweatshirt. So got the bumper off. Got the fender well trim off just a bit ago. Don't know if I'm gonna put anything back on. I think I am. I want to try those chrome ones I bought a while back. The thicker chrome. They're like well, the stock ones go up to like this little ridge here, but these are like, they're a little bit fatter, and it looks like the trim might have been put on maybe when the paint wasn't super dry or whatever. But a lot of times you put that stuff on and that's what it does. And I mean, it's only been on there for like a year, which is a year, but it's, well, as you've seen in other videos, it's the plastic mold that went around there. I'm gonna see. I mean, it looks fine without it, but I think I might use that chrome, kind of set it off. It being gray, I'm not a fan of the murdered out look, even though gray is not, you know, quote unquote murdered out, but you know, the dark, I like kind of bright paint jobs and whatnot. But anyway, but it looks fine the way it is, really. But that'll give it a little, you know, kind of a little bit of a bling, a little set it off just a little bit, something to break up all that gray. Plus the tires stick out just a touch, not a lot, but you know, that'll kind of just give it a little bit of like beefy look to it. With it being warmer, I think I've got I'm just going to go ahead and put new rotors and everything all the way around it. At first I thought maybe not, but with it being warmer out here, first time it's been warm since I've bought it. Took it down the driveway, just tapped the brakes a little bit, and the rear wants to lock up. Most of the time that's because your rear shoes are wore out or your drums are wore out, and they have to exert a little bit more energy to stop. I know they got plenty of fluid back there, everything's working, the proportional valve is working, all that stuff. There's no brake lights on, so it's usually mechanical when that's the deal. But every truck I've ever had like this, or older truck, it's all, whenever they lock up like that, either your proportional, excuse me, misspoke. Either your proportional valve is bad, or you just need rear brakes. And every time I put the rear brakes on it, it always stopped. But like I said, they're probably wore. Odds are they've never been changed, so that's not a big deal. So right now, I don't know if you can hear, but I got my 93 running. Usually try to run it, move it around every couple of days just to keep things moving. So that's what that noise is. Right now I'm going to get in here and power wash this and clean the whole truck, really, but really clean the engine bay. Now, a lot of people frown upon power washing engine bays and whatnot. I've been cleaning vehicles since, I don't know, the early 90s, 90, 91. I've never had an issue pressure washing an engine bay. Common sense, you want to stay away from electrical components as much as possible. I'll end up changing this anyway, I think, just because, you know, that way I'm just feel more secure with it. But I mean, nothing's wrong with it. There's no noise. This has to be replaced. This has a, when it wants to kick on or does kick on, just like with the defroster or whatnot, it's got a little sound to it, and that's not a big deal. Probably a bad bearing, whatever. Who knows how long it's been in here. It was changed over, retrofitted in 2018, so we'll see what happens with that. It says it was, but you got that right there, so who knows? I'm gonna go through that. That's not a big deal. Maybe they put new just new seals and whatnot on it, and maybe they just, I don't know. Either way this has to be replaced. But other than that, I mean, she's crusty a little bit. Like I said, we're just gonna see what we can clean up with that. As you can see, I mean, it wants to clean up a bit. It's going to have a little pitty rust on it. That's just par for the course, as they say. Might put a new, I've got a couple of these reservoirs here, new washer reservoir, overflow tank. I've got one of these and I've got one of those, so why not use it? There are no engine lights on, and the guy drove it as a daily, so that's a good sign. I might take this off, powder coat it, clean it up just because, but right now we're going to power wash it. And I kind of got off topic again, but anyway, power washing the engine bay. Some people frown upon it. You know, you can get water into things, whatever, but when you drive it, water splashes up. Obviously not all the way in it, all that stuff, but I mean, it's common sense, right? You don't want to take your nozzle and just spray up in there. That's just stupid, right? And sometimes it's a good thing, because you're going to find what might have a leak, or a bad spark plug wire or something like that. It started up and it's missing, or arcing. Then a lot of times that might help you find things. Obviously you want to stay away from electrical connectors as much as possible. I mean, it's kind of one of them things you get a feel for. You kind of know where you kind of got to be. Also, being an older truck, you kind of want to pay attention before you get going, and just kind of look around at your wiring, because it being 30 plus year old truck, you could blast a wire off or blast a loose connector or something off. But that's, again, just is what it is when you do this stuff. Like I said, since the early 90s, I've been detailing vehicles. Again, nowhere in any video will you hear me say I'm an expert on anything, but I've been doing this for a long time. I've never had an issue. Never. Even newer vehicles, and they tell you not to do this. You stay away from things that are obvious to me, unless it straight up says, you got some pamphlet somewhere that says do not do this. Okay, then I'll abide by it, because I don't want to buy anyone a new engine, or electrical system, I should say. But like I said, I've never had a problem. Again, to reiterate, stay away from stuff. You just don't want to blast up in here. Hold your nozzle away a little bit, kind of get to where you got to get. If you use a pressure washer enough, you kind of know the force of it. You don't want to go right up to it and boom. But as far as it does, give you a little bit more strength than a hose. I mean, look at this. I mean, it'll clean up pretty good. You're going to have your little pitting and whatnot. That's, again, is what it is. And I'm not taking fender wells out to powder coat them like I've done that truck, my little dually, my blue truck, all that stuff. It's just, that'd be overkill for this. I just can't see me doing all that. Again, like I keep saying, because you just, oh man, now you may as well take the cab off. Now you may as well do this. Then you're getting into something that you daily, then you need a daily for your daily, because you need a daily for your daily and your other daily. So I do have to replace the battery tray. That's a little wonky there. But other than that, I'm going to get the pressure washer out, hook some water up to it that's not frozen finally, and see what blasts off. And like I said, the bed, I'm gonna power wash that, get all this stuff out of it, power wash it. I don't, this is some kind of bed liner. Maybe the home stuff has to be, because the way it's flaking off. But I think for all intent and purposes, I think, like I said, I'm going to power wash it, degrease it best I can, and get some Rust-Oleum. I mean, to me, I don't see the need in spending any more than a few dollar can of Rust-Oleum, black Rust-Oleum. Just kind of go over it with a wool roller and just make it uniformed, and kind of just knock this stuff off that's wanting to flake off. I mean, it is what it is. At least it'll be uniform and clean. We'll try to make things a little bit better than they are. But again, when it comes to vehicles, anyone that's ever messed with anything like this will attest that it's easy to go down that rabbit hole of, let's not only make it better, but let's make it superb. And then next thing you know, as I've said in numerous other videos, then you got a parts truck again. I don't lose interest, but it does take time. Like I said, with the 90s project I have in there, where I live, painters are kind of hard to come by, decent paint shops. And I know enough about it, common sense. It's like a tattoo. I can give you a tattoo, and by definition, it's a tattoo, but it's not going to look good. Same thing with a paint job. It's just, I'm not set up for it. It's a lot of dust, a lot of things you got. It's like a wood shop. I think I mentioned that before. It's like you'll always have sawdust floating around somewhere, always. A paint shop is the same way. You go in there and you smell fiberglass, you smell residue, you smell paint, and it's, I don't want to have to move everything out my shop to do this stuff. Maybe hit a fender or something like that is one thing, and yeah, you can do it outside, all that stuff, but like I said, it's not something I'm heavily into. And like I said, I don't lose interest, but if you're gonna spend the money, you want it done as best as you can get it. So that's that. And I'm more of the on the mechanical side. I can fit some panels and the obvious stuff, engine and all that good stuff. And I painted a couple things here and there that actually look pretty decent. But like I said, it's just, you kind of got to retool your shop or wherever you are, or set up some kind of canopy and all that stuff. And that doesn't turn me on these days, having canopies all through the yard and all that. And just things here, things there. A lot of people will get on you, the built not bought thing. I'm under the persuasion of, if you don't know how, find someone that does. Now, you do want to take some pride and know some things. I mean, I don't know, it's a fine line, I guess. If you buy something that's nice, to me, it's all in your attitude. If you buy something that's really nice and you drive around and you cruise it up to wherever, and it's like, man, that's a nice truck. You do the work. No, I bought it like this, blah, 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 blah. I've always wanted one, whatever. It's the people that kind of, they bought it and then they drive it around as if, yeah, I did it. They might not come out and say they did it, but they definitely will take the compliment. And like, if someone came up to me and said, man, your black truck is beautiful. Did you paint it? No, I did not. I paid to have that done. Things like that. Okay, well, who did the engine work? Well, I did that. I did this. You want to have some hand in it, but to me, it's all attitude with the built, not bought thing. Just because you think you can. I mean, it depends on what, some people have different things that they're into and they excel in it. So why not go to someone or a shop that's got multiple people? Like I said, I'm just one guy. So why not go to a shop where there's multiple people? One guy sanding, one guy might be painting, maybe another guy's figuring out how to, to get the body line straight or whatever, while some other guy's doing something else, and it kind of goes quicker, better. Not saying you won't get screwed, because that's always a possibility, but being one guy, you're touching everything, common sense, and you get lost. But the built not bought thing it's all an attitude. It's like, man, those are beautiful wheels. Well, thank you. Well, I didn't build them. I didn't make the wheels. I don't have a oven out here or for the cast aluminum, or I don't have a CNC machine cutting billet or anything like that. You can say, well, I appreciate your taste in it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you appreciating my taste. So that's that with that. So anyway, once I get it cleaned up and get it back in the shop, and next thing will be, like I said, I'll pluck away with it. I still got parts coming for the exhaust. I thought I had everything. I do not. But with it being clean, I can kind of get it up, go ahead and get the brakes on it, polish some things out. As you can see, like I said, this truck was painted kind of on the fly. It's not terrible, but that dent back there is terrible. But it's not a terrible paint job. Of course, you're not going to, win it. You're not going to win any best paint awards or anything. But it's uniformed. It's all together. I think I only see two spots where at some point it was started to flake off, and I guess he just hit it with whatever to keep the, maybe keep it from rusting or something, I don't know, but that's not a deal breaker. And I'll probably end up just priming these black and just kind of make it like a happy accident, you know, kind of contrast, black mirrors, gray truck. So it's kind of like black, everything goes with it, you know what I mean? Like clothes, black shoes, kind of everything goes with black shoes. But anyway, I definitely want to get this cleaned up and see what I got from there. And like I said, I'll probably will powder coat this just because that's the most obvious rusted thing here. I think once we get in here, get it cleaned, I think we're going to see it's not too bad. Now, what I use to clean? Multiple things. Depending on what you got to do. Sometimes if I don't have much, like right now, I thought I had some other degreasers. I do not. But for what we're doing, now if this was a customer's vehicle, then yeah, I would go out and get, you know, the best I could find, whatever. But spritz some bleach white in there. First I'm gonna wet it, let the water soak in there a bit. Then I'm gonna spray some bleach white, and then some of this oil and grease cleaner. Let that sit for a bit. Then go in there with my little hand brush and just kind of swab around in there. Of course, you know, you got simple green, you got what's that stuff in the purple jug? I forgot it. Anyway, the degreaser, something like heavy duty degreaser, whatever. I mean, degreaser is kind of a degreaser for me, unless you're doing like big rigs, or I know they got stuff out there that's like pretty potent, but here we're just knocking off some dust and whatever else might want to come off. I just don't. Again, if it was a customer's car, I'm going to make sure I got the right stuff or good stuff. But again, I've never had any issues. Realistically, there's nothing that's going to truly eat everything away. You got to get in there and kind of scrub. That's just is what it is. But the power washer helps, and obviously, but like I said, there's this. As long as you're getting things wet and getting things moving around and all that, that's really all you need. It's not a big thing. Like I said, I know the dollar store has some degreaser. I think it's called Grease Lightning or something like that. I might be wrong with the name, but that stuff works pretty good. There are some things that you have to watch that are really strong. And if you got like a lot of aluminum parts, like polished aluminum, that it can definitely change the sheen of it into where you have to repolish it. But with everything I do, even if it takes a little longer, I go easy at first, and if I gotta go harder, I go harder. It's just, to me, I don't see the sense in putting like muriatic acid in here just yet. So I'm gonna get the pressure washer, get set up, and get this clean. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is power wash inside, like I said, and whatever's loose, easy to come off, will come off. Then I'm going to come back over it with some degreasers and whatnot, and let that sit for a bit, and then you know, pressure wash it some more until I feel satisfied with it and all that. pressure washer. I think I got it straight. Right now I'm going to do some degreaser. I got all that. Power wash as you seen or saw. Spray this on it. Let it sit for a bit. Of course, this isn't what I normally use. I guess the cold busted my normal sprayer, but this will do. And then sometimes I'll go over it with some bleach white. I mean, this works pretty good as an engine degreaser. You gotta watch what you use sometimes, because like I said, it can stain aluminum. Not this, but like something stronger. But again, with this, we're just having some fun. Unless you want to break down the wax when you're going to repolish and re-wax it. That definitely helps. But what it does, it can create swirls. It doesn't really give you that kind of like, I say sudsing action, but you can see a lot of swirls if you just use that on paint. So I'm going to use it on this because it does have a lot of mold on the truck. But again, we're not dealing with a new paint job. We're not dealing with, you know, $7, $8, $10, $12,000 paint. So for today's purposes, it'll be just fine. I'll go over it with this brush here and try to reach everything I can. Say, it's going to be what it's going to be, and it is what it is. So we can get most of it, a good start anyway, and like I said, just kind of go from there with it. Now when this dries, it'll look terrible because you've broken it down, some paint might have came off, breaking it down to, you know, the very, like I call it scars. You know, everything is where sometimes where mold sets. Sometimes it can discolor paint, all that stuff. But okay, so that's cleaned up. Now I want to take it to put it on the apron, just dry it off so it doesn't spot up. I see that I'm going to need some weather strip. But overall, not too bad. Some paint flaked off, but I can deal with that. That's not a problem. Get some weather stripping. And there it is. The engine's power washed, engine bay. Came out pretty good, I think. I'll definitely replace the reservoirs. I got them, why not? And like I said, I'll more than likely go ahead and get that sandblasted and powder coated black. Maybe take some paint and touch up the power steering pump. You know, just mess around. But overall, I mean, I can't complain with what this is. Like I said, everything, I don't hear any weird noises. I mean, you know, whenever I get a truck, I always do certain things. Like I'll change the fuel pump unless I got exact documentation that it has been changed, and just the basic stuff. I mean, you know, fuel pump, everyone drives different. Sometimes that does affect things, different driving habits. Truck feels different to most people. But anyway, I think that's all right. Like I said, not perfect. We're not doing a show vehicle. And like I said, with the Dawn dish detergent, I would never really use that on someone's vehicle. But on this, I mean, it had some mold. I don't think it's been washed in who knows whenever. You know, it doesn't hurt. Plus, I'm going to put some compound on it. And I'm going to polish it and wax it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, fairly happy with that. Not bad.